Finding your dream home is not the most stressful part of a closing. Getting to the closing table and making sure your closing does not fall apart is. If you're buying a home and you think the hardest part is finding your dream home and getting your offer accepted, this video applies directly to you. Believe me, things go wrong in the closing. And if you're not aware of the issues that could come up, it could cost you money, it could cost you time, it could even cost you the house, and it all could occur days before you close. Hi, I'm attorney Kishore Kapoor, a residential real estate closing attorney here in the state of Connecticut. And every day I share videos explaining the closing process from real life situations, from real clients, so you can learn from their experiences and have a smooth and stress-free closing. So let me tell you a few stories today. We represented a buyer. This buyer got an offer accepted on their new home. They searched for 6 months. They found it. They were so happy. He's like, we're all set. Everything's going to close. We got our offer accepted. We got through inspections. All right. I'm like, hold on. There's still a process. Well, mortgage is going along. No problem. He hires his movers. He hired painters, bought new furniture, ready to go. Closing date is the 30th of this month. We're going to close, no problem. On the 20th, I get the title search back. And if you watch my channel long enough, you know there's always a title issue. The closing was delayed because there was an unreleased mortgage from a prior owner. That delay messes up the movers, messes up the painters, messes up the furniture delivery people. It causes a mess because my client didn't listen to us when we said the closing date is a target. He thought because he got an offer accepted, the house was his and no problem. Well, the closing got delayed a month because we had to track down our mortgage release from 20 years ago. And that mortgage went through 3 or 4 different banks. And even now that 3 or 4 banks have been closed and transferred to 3 or 4 more banks. It was a nightmare. It caused it a waste of time, a lot of delays, and worse, my client wasted money because he had to pay a rescheduling fee for the mover. He had to move the painter to later in the year, and he had to pay a restocking fee for the furniture because they had to restock it. It was all in the truck, ready to go before he'd made the change. Don't be that client. Learn from that mistake. Let me tell you about our next client who went through, made an offer, got it approved at $350,000 purchase price. Everything was going smoothly. Pre-approval. The mortgage company gave us a mortgage commitment, which means they're going to conditionally approve the mortgage. Well, my client heard approval and didn't hear the conditional part. So what did he do? He transferred money from bank to bank, opening a can of worms, made some cash deposits. So what he had done was him and his wife had been saving money on the side and they planned to use it for their down payment. They deposited that cash a week before we closed. They couldn't justify where that cash came. Him and I, we knew where the money came from. It was them saving it, but they couldn't explain that to the mortgage company. And because they couldn't explain it, they didn't count it. And because they didn't count that money, he didn't have enough cash to close. Unfortunately for that client, he ended up having to terminate the contract because he didn't have the money. And he didn't know it because he's been collecting cash. So they kept telling him, how much money do you have? And he kept saying, don't worry, I have enough money. We've given him an idea. Well, cash messes things up. Now, we have a client that was going to have a large transaction of cash and we could justify it, right? So he sold a motorcycle. We had a copy of his title from before he sold it and we had a copy of the bill of sale. So we could justify and show where the money comes from. So if you are buying or selling a house and you want to review the transaction with somebody before problems become emergencies, reach out and schedule a meeting with me. I'm happy to review things with you and make sure your closing is smooth, start to finish. So I've got 5 lessons here. Lesson number 1, just because you're under contract doesn't mean you own the house, right? Like my first client, don't go hire movers, do everything until we get a clear to close. Just because you were told your offer is accepted doesn't mean it's going to close on time. That's the biggest thing. So don't hire your movers, don't hire your painters, don't buy furniture. I know you're excited, you want to do all those things, but if you set those up and we have to move them, well, that costs you money. and the stress of having to call 6 different people, coordinate things, and then reschedule it. Just hold off until we tell you we're clear to close. Or honestly, if you can swing it, wait until after we close to, we tell you we close, then schedule your movers, then schedule the furniture people, then schedule the painters. I understand that's not always the case, but that's the goal. Number 2, loan approval is not the finish line, right? Especially a mortgage commitment. The finish line is a clear to close and really when we sign the documents, because anything can go wrong between those times. Don't make huge financial decisions or changes in your life without talking to your team, right? Your attorney, your realtor, your mortgage broker. We're there to guide you. So if you're going to make a deposit of cash, talk to us first because there's probably a way we can make it work. If you're going to change jobs, again, talk to us. We can help you, guide you, figure out what the best option is there. Don't open new credit cards. Don't buy new cars. Just live life the way you're kind of going, right? I know it's exciting. There's a lot going on and you want the new furniture and, you've been saving cash under the bed or whatever it is. Talk to your team so we can make up the best financial decisions for you. Number 3, its title problems are the more common than you think. And based on my channel, you should see they're very common. Typically, they're easy things to fix, but they cause delays. And your title search is going to show us all the issues. We shouldn't rush through it. It should be done earlier in the process if we can. But it's going to help highlight unpaid debts, unpaid mortgages, even mortgages from prior owners that have been paid that just haven't been cleared. Number 4, you will have closing costs in addition to your down payment. A lot of people think it's one and the same. It's not. So your down payment is the amount that the lender requires you to bring to the table in order to close. On top of that is closing costs. Closing costs are anywhere between 2 and 5% nationally. So if you err on the side of safety and you go for 5%, you should have more than enough cash saved so that you could be all set. And then number 5, and this is probably the most important thing and the biggest mistake I see. Hiring the cheapest attorney because you want to save some money. Now I'm going to start with, we are probably the lowest cost in the whole transaction. So if you want to save money, you're saving pennies instead of dollars. It's just really the reality. But even worse than that is when we make mistakes, because you hire someone that doesn't understand real estate closing, and mistakes will get made, you're on the hook, and that's thousands of dollars. So don't try to save a few dollars to lose $1,000, right? I think the saying, penny foolish, pound foolish, penny foolish, or something. I always mess it up. So whatever the case is, my point is that don't try to save pennies to risk thousands. This is your biggest financial transaction of your life. And your closing attorney should be there to protect you, not put you at risk. And choosing the cheapest attorney, unfortunately, you get what you pay for. So, before you go, watch this video where we cover all the real estate mistakes that every buyer and seller should know. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to give us a follow because I share daily tips, real life stories, and practical advices from a real estate closing attorney in Connecticut.